to see what that looks like. Yeah.
She didn't see it.
Yeah, that's good. It says we're live.
All right. You look exhausted.
I am. I am.
Now, 20 years ago, would you have still been exhausted?
Probably. After all this?
I bet you would have been.
Probably.
Well, let's talk a little bit about the week. Goodness, you are almost there.
We are.
Is it this Saturday?
It's this Saturday. We officially just got our temporary certificate of occupancy about an hour ago.
Oh, great.
Yeah, it's been, touch and go for a long time. We have a lot of opposition from the town. I don't know if I told you that the 17 violations, right?
Yeah, like $2,500 a week fine
No,
or something.
$19,000 a day. A day fine and 60 days jail sentence maximum per citation. So if you times 60 days times 17, it's just obnoxious. They're telling me I can't have any. Do you know where the paperwork is, Jake? When I had with Sam, I'll read you the last line. But here's where God showed up. Right? I posted a video about how they want me to take down any religious items and my lions and things like that, and 10,000 views in 48 hours of this video. And I just want to bring to you the last one. The last one of all my violations says, any and all religious symbols. Now, that just violates my constitutional right.
Yeah.
So
Wait, what's it say? Used
for ornamentation. So they're trying to say I'm not a believer and it's ornamentation only. That's even worse. I didn't want to go there, but that's what it is.
Wow.
They want me to take down the umbrella statue, the memorial statue, the angel spirit, which wishes everybody the strength to fight anything they may face.
Yeah, because of the cancer.
Terrible. But here's where God showed up with everybody praying. Our construction officer stepped in and said, I can't consciously allow your business, your charity, not to run and function. So out of nowhere, the construction officer stepped up and fought for what is right. So what does that mean? That means we're allowed to open. It doesn't mean that these fines aren't still pending. He's not God. He can't do it. But what he did do is stick his neck out for us. But the zoning department, they're the ones that want us to go to jail and get fined and shut down and not have an event for kids with cancer. I mean, they're just crazy.
Yeah, they're trying to make money. Sorry.
I don't know. We've given them tens and thousands of dollars. I don't know what they
Somebody
want.
must have a vendetta.
Well, she abuses her power. She abuses her power.
But this is crazy. I mean, this is totally unconstitutional. They're taking away your religious right.
Let's go to the
right to practice.
Let's go to the
faith.
punishment. Maximum penalty: a fine not exceeding $1,000 a day, and imprisonment for a period of not exceeding 90 days. But there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So that's $9,000 a day plus 4 extra lions. Add 9 plus 4 plus the one over there is $2,500 a day. So it's about $19,000 a day, and you're talking a month in prison almost.
Yeah,
you're not going to get it.
Hey, if you went to prison, that'd be the greatest thing you could ever do. Goodness, could you picture everybody who would be putting your name on the newspaper saying this guy got thrown in prison for treating people right and being wigs and wishes and having a faith? Are you serious? In America, you got put in the prison?
In America, they're telling you all religious symbols must be taken down.
I know.
What do I live in North Korea? But again, that God showed up. The construction officer stepped up. The mayor fought for us. This personal. They have a and they took it too far, violating my rights. But we're opening no matter what. So
hey, here's the way I look at it. He who is against you is against him.
I know that's true.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you'll not lose this battle. Look at how many battles you've been through. They were all preparation, really. For you keep thinking, I'm past my last battle. Right? Aren't we all like that when we face the enemy? And then all of a sudden there's one that's bigger than the last one.
Yeah.
But
I'm granting a wish today for a little boy, Rashawn. He's 7 years old and he's dying. He has reoccurring metastatic brain cancer. And at 2:00, I'm leaving this stress of these horrible people and I'm going to Target, and all he wanted is he wants a shopping spree at Target. And he looked like he won the Mega Million when I told him it was granted, And that's where I'm going to take this little boy at 2 o'clock. So while I'm there changing the life of a little boy that's going to meet his maker soon, let them sit and rot and have fun trying to attack us.
Yeah. Well, you got the right person on your side. How are you handling all this, Gianna?
I'll be happy when it's over.
How was your week?
Week's been going well so far, PB. Kids are just filing in left and right into youth. Oh, I'm on cloud nine. How about you?
Oh man, my Sunday was like, it was everything we had prayed for and then some.
Yeah, I was going to talk about Sunday, but I want to leave that to you.
We had over 500 people come to the altar in those two services. They just poured, kept coming, and thank God we had 52 altar workers.
I got to tell you, it's one, and I can't say the details because they'll know who it is, but a man came up that barely comes because he's Catholic, and he only comes to support his wife. And the fact that he came up to the altar, the fact that it was where I was praying with people, and he broke down like a 5-year-old kid that got spanked over his son. And I have to call him because I was shocked, but I actually saw the son today.
Wow.
After this live feed, I'll tell you the details.
Wow.
So I can't wait to call his dad and say, hey, your prayer was answered, pal. Amazing.
So many divine appointments at the altar, and just who God aligns with whom. You know what I mean?
I still don't believe it that I saw the kid today. I haven't seen him in years.
Yeah, you did.
Wow.
I know. But and just all the altar workers have sacrificed their time. Many served in 2 services. And just to see, I don't know how many people were saved. I mean, I asked Blake, he didn't get back to me yet, but I mean, we had a lot of people. Just cards were stacked like that on salvations.
Wow.
So it was just a wonderful day, and it's kind of exciting because I only preached twice a year. I think Pastor Blake would like me to do more, but I tell him that's okay. Twice is enough for me. Good Friday and one other Sunday somewhere. But to oversee that, because that's the first time we've had a healing service since Blake's been with us. It's the first time he ever saw anything like it. And then to think that Higher Ground came in.
They were amazing.
I had people tell me they were as good as they've ever been.
They were phenomenal. They came here, sang at the
I know, I saw it. That was so cool.
She and I took them to dinner, and they're just very caring, compassionate, sincere people.
Yeah, they got a lot of depth.
They do.
In a shallow world.
Oh, that's so good that you said that.
Yeah, that was a great way to describe them.
Yeah,
they do. Wayne's always been a deep thinker. His songs are deep. And I'm kind of excited that he's got a few writers that can take his lyrics and put them in a musical world where we live today.
Yeah.
Because he's 70.
I love
my sister's 77. He's 78.
I love his modernism, though. Like, he has no problem adapting to the.
He's always.
And I'll tell you what, he looks his best he's ever looked with that white hair.
He does look
really
good, doesn't he?
good.
Eddie looks good.
They all look great.
Thank God, Mark. It's just the grace of God. He's alive.
I know.
And he's with them. He travels with them, and his wife takes care of those 7 kids and led worship for him on Sunday. She's like the miracle woman or something.
His little boy sent him a message while we were having dinner. Said, "I love you, Daddy. I miss you so much." Wow. So sweet.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, welcome to Hijack Life Live, where we believe that God rescues the dreams that have been shattered by the cruelties and injustices of life, a.k.a. we are the other view.
So what's our topic today, PB?
Well, we're going to talk about to vote or not to vote. But we can't say who we're voting for today.
All right, that's fair.
All right, we'll do that next week because we're only going to get through 5 of these.
All right.
All right. Yeah, listen, hey.
What made you select that topic?
Because I have, Gianna. There's this person that every time I do something that is, somewhat controversial in the sense that there's going to be sides on it.
Mm-hmm.
So, like I sent this, which we'll start with next week, but I responded to Reverend Robert Schenck, Rob Schenck, to his endorsement of a candidate. And when I did, just wow, there was like 140 some comments, comments. Yeah. It goes crazy because people join in on both sides. And I love that because that's one of the beauties of Facebook that you don't get on Instagram is you can get some really deep discussions that are worth
That's
listening
true.
to.
Yep.
But this guy always has to kind of spiritualize everything. Like,
Don't say his name.
I'm not, but I'm like, I get stuff like I'm voting for Jesus. Well, I'm sorry, but Jesus isn't on the ticket, you know? It just, so anyway.
That's fine.
And then, so the last comment I got from one person was, well, do you believe God is going to put who he wants in the White House?
I don't believe it.
Well,
What was your response? Like, what did you say?
here's what I said. God has three wills,
Uh-huh.
right? God has a permissive will. What's that, Samaj?
Well, a permissive will is, for example, Israel asked for a king against God's will, and God let them have one. Another example is Israel wanted a mediator between them and God. Prior to this, God spoke directly to all of Israel, and they were given Moses.
Yeah, so that's God's permissive will,
Right.
right? Then God has a perfect will.
So a perfect will, for example, would be like someone like Abraham fulfilling God's call to be the father of many nations, or King David was the perfect example of a servant king. When we walk in obedience, God gives us, that will,
Yeah,
that perfect will.
and then God has an overriding will. So think about this. He has a permissive will, which he
Mhm.
probably exercises in our lives all the time.
Indeed.
And then God has a perfect will, and that's when somehow we walk in obedience and we're where we need to
So Balaam.
be. Balaam the prophet.
Yeah. So when he spoke for God, he could only speak the words of God.
Yeah.
True prophet.
And yet, he corrupted when he didn't speak for God, he corrupted all Israel. They got involved in the Moabites, and they're having sex when they're worshiping and all kinds of stuff. And he winds up dying.
Let's
Yeah.
go to Nebuchadnezzar,
Yeah.
one of my favorite stories. God's instrument of chastisement on Israel. God said of Nebuchadnezzar that he was God's servant and didn't even know God's name. I love it. Yet he bowed down.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like,
Yeah, that's his overriding will.
I love this.
Listen, you're the guy I picked, and eventually you're going to do what I
Oh,
want.
wait, there's Moses. There's
Yeah.
the list goes on and on.
Yeah.
So birth, death, and resurrection of Jesus the Messiah. Nothing could stand in the way of Jesus' birth, death, resurrection, and of course the anticipated second coming.
Yes. Hallelujah.
St. Paul, God called him. He had no choice. Jonah had no choice.
Yeah, that's true.
Right?
I should have added Jonah.
That's
Yeah,
right.
that's a good one.
And the soon coming new earth and new heavens. Oh,
Yeah,
sounds so good.
it is. It's God's overriding will. So let's look at the subject.
Mhm.
10 reasons why Christians should vote. All right. This was by Dr. Krish. Is that how you would say it?
I would say
K-R-I-S-H?
Krish.
Krish Kandiah.
Okay.
And he's president of the London School of Theology. And he published this back in 2015. This is exceptional.
Okay.
10 reasons. We'll look at 5 today, and we'll pick it up next week, and we'll tell who we're voting for and why. But Gianna, you have a little long read here, but it's really good.
Okay. Voting publicly recognizes that we submit to the authority of the political system in our nation as established by God. Romans 13, 1 through 7.
Let's hold it for a minute. So many people say they're not going to vote because they don't like the candidates,
Mhm.
or they think the candidates are God's choice, right? So he's saying he thinks it's our responsibility to vote because we're subject to the authorities that God has put in the system.
Why do we say God has put in the system? We don't know God put them in the system.
Well, we know he established the system, okay? So by the fact that we as believers have an opportunity to vote says we can in some way influence.
Sure, but like look
Right.
at Hitler. Hitler was voted in, and God didn't want him to kill all those Jews.
That's a subject in itself.
I'm just saying, God didn't put Castro in. God didn't put Gaddafi in. God didn't put Saddam Hussein in. He allowed it because he's not a puppeteer.
You listen, I'm just going to say the Bible says God's sovereign over the affairs of men and he rules over nations. And we don't know the overall plan. It's so much bigger than us. Yeah, we say Hitler was a horrible man. How do we not know that Hitler was part of God's plan to chastise
Yeah.
the Jew because he said, well, you're going to reject me and you're going to pay this price. But yet it also calls upon us as believers that know to treat people the way they're supposed to be. So you get to see in this world Satan, who is attacking people, as he's even doing today on campuses, the Jew, And they will continue to be attacked. They will continue to be oppressed until Jesus returns and they believe in him. But in the meantime, he's called us to love even as he loves. So we show the love of Christ even though they may not believe in Christ. So I'm just saying his plan is always bigger than us. I can't answer that.
I mean, 'cause
I understand what you're saying.
Yeah,
But, I mean, they could say that about Nebuchadnezzar. He drove Israel into captivity. He was God's choice.
Say the same thing about Pharaoh.
Yeah.
I mean, from Exodus.
Initially, he was Pharaoh. First Pharaoh was God's protection.
Yeah.
But as it corrupted, as you said, Martin, as it corrupted, then God brought deliverance and he showed the Jew who he was and compared to all the other gods. So I'm just saying there's this whole picture, this whole thing that God's sovereign over the affairs of men and rules over nations, so much bigger than us.
Well, and you also have to take into account what the enemy intends for evil, God always turns for good too. So,
But anyway, go ahead and read this. Sorry about that, Gianna.
It's okay. Let every soul be subject to the governing authorities, for there is no authority except from God, and the authorities that exist are appointed by God. Therefore, whoever resists the authority resists the ordinance of God, and those who resist will bring judgment on themselves. For rulers are not a terror to good works, but to evil. Do you want to be unafraid of the authority? Do what is good, and you will have praise for the same. For he is God's minister to you for good. But if you do evil, be afraid, for he does not bear the sword in vain. For he is God's minister and avenger to execute wrath on him who practices evil. Therefore, you must be subject not only because of the wrath, but also for conscience sake. For because of this, you also pay taxes, for they are God's ministers, attending continually to this very thing. Render therefore to all their due taxes, to whom taxes are due, customs to whom customs, fear to whom fear, honor to whom honor.
That's often hard to do.
Sure. So
that's a hard.
My
thing to do.
takeaway is you're supposed to do right and get the consequences to God, because we know that people in government don't do what they're supposed to do with their position, their power, or our taxes.
That's not a battle.
And ultimately, that person is in the hands of God. Look at Ahab.
Right.
There came a day when Ahab's rebellion against God, his wife who worshipped Baal, remember, and Elijah has this huge order and they have the warfare and God slays all these prophets and then she comes after Elijah. But they both met their death.
Right. But also, you have to take into account, like, it's not our battle to fight. We just do what we're supposed to do. You know what I mean? Honor God and honor those in authority and let God handle the rest.
Yeah, I mean, I could say, hey, listen, I hate this administration. I think it's wicked. I'm not paying taxes.
But you still have to pay your taxes. It's going to hurt you in the long run.
Yeah.
Well, let's look at everybody that's pro-life and they give their taxes and the government uses it to pay for abortions.
Right.
That's a prime example.
Yeah.
Look, voting recognizes the equality of all people and their right to speak and be heard. It doesn't mean that they're going to fulfill your beliefs.
That's right.
Deuteronomy chapter 10, 17 through 19 says, "For the Lord your God is God of gods, lowercase, and Lord of lords, lowercase.
Yeah.
The great God, mighty and awesome, who shows no partiality nor takes a bribe. What is it?
He administers.
He administers justice for the fatherless and the widow and loves the stranger, giving him food and clothing. Therefore, love the stranger, for you were strangers in the land of Egypt." That's the Jew.
Yeah. Yeah. That's right.
Mm-hmm.
And I love this where it says God takes no bribe. He's not going to be persuaded
Oh,
by...
I said bride. I'm sorry.
no, you didn't. I think you said bribe. But, I mean, he's not going to be persuaded by some interest group because they promise him they're going to give him X amount of votes.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I think the fact that, like this person said, voting recognizes the equality of all people and their right to speak and to be heard.
Yeah.
Because God hears all people.
Yeah.
And he gives them a right to be heard and to speak.
Yeah.
Oh,
Look, I mean, number 3, it says, "It is one way that we can obey God's command to seek the good of those around us and our nation as a whole." That's referenced in Jeremiah 29. Jeremiah 29, 5 through 7, it says, "Build houses and dwell in them, plant gardens and eat their fruit. Take wives and beget sons and daughters, and take wives for your sons and give your daughters to husbands."
Now listen, this is when they were in captivity.
Captivity, yeah.
He's telling them, even when you're in captivity, to do this.
Yep. Right. So it says, once again, it says, "And take wives for your sons and give your daughters to husbands, so that they may bear sons and daughters, that you may be increased there and not diminished. And seek the peace of the city where I have caused you to be carried away captive, and pray to the Lord for it, for in its peace you will have peace."
Yeah, any thoughts?
I'm discouraged because I feel like it's not about voting for a party. It's about voting for a person. And you can vote for one person and they can make one bad mistake that can affect the lives of so many people.
I mean,
locally too. I'm seeing it right now. Locally.
You're seeing it.
Sure. Somebody was mayor for 24 hours and gave this person power that she abuses to no end. I mean, to tell somebody you can't have religious stuff on your property, and they just say, "Oh well, she's union, nothing we can do."
Well, again, I think the reason why God permits, at least in this age, evil, it causes the righteous to stand up for what is right.
Mm-hmm.
That is 100%.
You know, just like the treatment of the Jew. Whether Hitler was in his plan, not in his plan, I can't tell you that. It's way beyond me. But what I can tell you is it brought people to the place where we needed to do what we needed to do for Jewish people and still do it today. And anybody else.
Do you know when I called Sam and told him what was going on, obviously he's going to sue for us, but he said, Martino, I've been dealing with this my whole life as a Jew.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah, you're right.
That's what he said. He said, I've been dealing with this my whole life.
And sadly, that's exactly what the Lord, I mean, they said that his blood be on us and on our children. Mm-hmm. And sadly, that persecution of the Jew will continue until Jesus returns as Messiah and they recognize who he is. But that doesn't mean that we as Christians shouldn't demonstrate our love as Jesus did.
100%.
To everyone, not just the Jew, even the Muslim.
That's why we named our baby Israel.
Yeah, that's right.
Put your money where your mouth is.
Yeah, that's right. Gianna?
It shows that we care deeply about who our leaders are as we are urged to offer prayer and intercession on their behalf.
This is so hard, man.
1 Timothy 2, 1 through 3. Therefore, I exhort, first of all, supplications, prayers, intercessions, and giving of thanks be made for all men, for kings, and all who are in authority, that we may lead a quiet and peaceful life in all godliness and reverence. For this is good and acceptable in the sight of God our Savior.
So what are your thoughts on that one?
Painfully difficult.
So difficult.
Oh, man. For years, I didn't pray for this president. I prayed God would take him out, put a righteous man in his place. And I'm serious. And then, God convicted me and said, I'm to pray for all who are in authority. Mm-hmm. So that's what I have to do. I pray and I say, Lord, I pray this person comes to know you before they pass from this life to the next. I pray they would govern in the righteousness and walk in the fear of the Lord. Mm-hmm. I pray this for congressmen, senators, governors, mayors, local council people. I just pray that prayer because I realize that there's a reason why God tells us to pray.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes a difference.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think we prayed away that hurricane.
Mm-hmm.
Milton.
That was wild.
Yeah.
5-1. I think it was the people's prayers because they saw what had happened
the first
with
time.
Helene.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Well, there's one more today we're going to cover.
It's simple yet significant. The way we can do something about politics in our nation, all that is required for evil to prevail is for good men to do nothing. That's a mic drop.
And look, here's some verses.
The Bible says, depart from evil and do good. Seek peace and pursue it. The eyes of the Lord are on the righteous, and his ears are open to their cry. I believe that.
Amen.
The face of the Lord is against those who do evil. I like that one too. So it's funny how you like some, don't like others.
Yeah. Always.
To cut off
being honest.
To cut off the remembrance of them from the earth. Yeah, I like that even more.
Yeah, like that Timothy passage. I want to be like Elisha, called those bears out.
Yeah.
Cut those kids
the
up.
bald guy,
right? Yeah, that's kind of where I want to do. And then God says, wait a minute. I sent my son for these people. They mean something to me. Yeah. That's pretty tough. So let's go back and just read, each of us take our point. Just the 5 reasons why we should vote. Gianna, start with you. Just the first.
Voting publicly recognizes that we submit to the authority of the political system in our nation as established by God.
All right. I think Samaj, your point 2, or is it Martin? Martino.
Yeah, voting recognizes the equality of all people and their right to seek and be heard.
Yeah. Speak and be heard.
It is one way that we can obey God's command to seek the good of those around us and our nation as a whole.
So when people say, I ain't voting, you just lost that opportunity.
But it's hard because even us, we said like this voting, especially locally, we are so like
I know.
torn because they're all crooked,
I
in
know.
my opinion.
Well, I think, listen, these guys these senators make 79,000.
Come out
They just
millionaires.
gave themselves a 40% raise, but they made 179,000. They're living in multi-million-dollar houses. Now, how do you do that? Something not right.
Yeah.
The one thing that I took away is you said we have to fight for what's right. We have
Yeah.
2 news interviews today that we're doing. We're going to bring light to this injustice of especially the religious stuff. The other stuff will
And if
deal
you
with.
get the whole masses on your side, it's pretty hard for them to stand in the way of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Gianna, number 4.
It
This
shows
was
that
our
we
4th
care
reason.
deeply about who our leaders are as we are urged to offer prayer and intercession on their behalf.
And Martin, the last.
It is simple yet significant way we can do something about politics in our nation. All that is required for evil to prevail is for good men to do nothing.
Yeah. So we're called
That
to
is
do
very-
something,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
All right. So we're going to pick up with the other 5 reasons. And then for those of you who have any thoughts, I don't know, we really didn't ask for it, but next week we'll ask for your thoughts and we'll ask for whom it is you're voting and for you to tell us why. That's something, why you have selected that candidate. Because we're getting down to it. There's 20 days now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, look, remember to share. If you'd like a transcript, you can send us a DM or put in the comments. We'll make sure that Gianna gets you that from Pastor Bruce. What's happening this week at church, PB?
Baptisms.
Nice.
30 or 32.
That's great. Don't forget we have Hijack Life shirts. One says on the front, live for Jesus, and the back says, even a bad day will be a good day.
And one says,
Why are you telling me that? And the back says, stop gossiping. And my favorite of all time is one says on the front, make life count. And the back says, stop bitching, start blessing.
Samaj never says it with us.
I have
He's afraid his grandmother will kick him out the house.
There's a few local people I'd like to send that shirt to. All right, 1, 2, 3.
Live for Jesus, and even a bad day will be a good day.
Love you. Don't forget to share this and tune in next week.
Bye.
Bye. There you are.